Welcome to Shoeman's Model Shop, and this is part 2 of my Build the Enterprise D video, and we'll be still working on book 1. So we'll be starting stage 2, which is one of the nacelles. I'm not sure if it's the port or starboard. And so we've got the book open here, and again the instructions are very clear and very plain and very easy to follow. And so we're going to get started. And the first thing I did is I was watching World of Wayne, and he was talking about where when the ship's powered down, the chiller grills, I think that's what those are, they're actually a copper color. So what I went ahead and did was added that copper, and all I did was I basically just took a copper paint and I just lightly dusted this. So you can see here, because it's light, that the blue shines through, but it has a nice copper appearance. And I think once I get it into the nacelle and buttoned up, it'll be much darker. I didn't want to go too heavy so that you don't see the blue light. So I think I did a good job. We'll see if when I get it all buttoned up. So this, and you can see this part is metal. It's a heavy metal, so it's going to be a heavy ship, but you can see that the paint job is really nice. It's got the nice Aztecing on there, and it's, like I said, it's going to be a pretty heavy ship. But this is mostly going to be die cast along with plastic. Now this part goes into the nacelle, but we're not going to use it in this video, so it gets put in later, but it's included with this package. So I had mentioned before getting a little box to put all the pieces you won't be needing in, or the parts you work on, because it doesn't go in a linear. You're not working on every part, it just kind of goes hodgepodge. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to install the I'm not sure what you call it, but it's an amber piece there, and it just slides right in. You can see it just slides right in there. It doesn't get screwed in yet. There you can see there's going to be like a plastic grip that's going to fit over that to hold it in. And then what we've got is we've got a little light at the end, the little blue light, and with this one it fits right in that hole, and there's a little key. It's got like a D shape, so it only goes in one way. And again, that's why I kind of like this model. It's great for beginners, but if you don't have a lot of experience, it's really simple, and it just slots right in there. You give a little push, and you can see it pops out. But that'll be held in by the rib, so you kind of just got to stick it in there and then hold it in there while you get ready to put in the rib part. And it just sets right in there. So the next step is this little clear part. I'm not 100% sure what it does, but it fits right in there over the amber part. Maybe it's a light diffuser. I'm really not sure what it does, but we'll find out. Then that just sets right in there, and then it just sets in there. So then what we're going to do is the next step is to put in the plastic rib. And again, that just slots right in there. It's going to hold in all the pieces that we've just done. And like I said, it's a heavy plastic, but it's plastic, and it just is going to slot right into place. And there we go. It just lays right in there. And then next we're going to use screws. And for this we're going to use, now again, I had mentioned before that screws are kind of broken up into P and M screws. P screws are for plastic. M screws are for metal, so when you're screwing into metal, you use the M screws. When you go into plastic, you'll use those screws. Now, the screwdriver that comes with the kit is nice, but I found that for these screws, the head is a little bit too big. So I went and grabbed one of my other screwdrivers. It is magnetic, and so we're going to go ahead and put the screws in, and we'll do that right now. when I'm putting in the screws, what I like to do is I like to just kind of get them in and started. I don't really tighten them down real tight at first, because one thing you can do is if you tighten them down, you can warp the plastic. Another thing is I just want to make sure that they're all in there. Then I'll go through and then I'll tighten them up. Now on the front end, they use a different screw. And so I've got those out, and another part, then we'll add the part, again, I just call it the nacelle cap. I don't know what you would call it, but it just goes right in the front, and then it slots into what we had shown before, and it just lays in there, and then we will add 3 screws. And then we'll put those 3 screws into that end. Now we got the screws in, and that bottom part, or top, that's actually top part, I'm sorry, that is completed. It looks really nice, and the ribs will hold everything in place. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to be installing the part C, and that's the chiller grills. And those are the ones I showed you earlier that I painted. And what they do is they just slot right in there. Again, they just set, there's a little space, a little rib, and they just will sit right in there. And again, I kind of like the copper. You can see how it's kind of got a nice look, so when there's no light, that copper should look pretty good. And these, they just slot, just lay right in there. You can see there's the little screw holes, and they'll line up with the screw holes here, but there's also like a little slot, so they just lay right in there. Now, kind of one concern I have is I've seen some videos with some issues with light leaks, and for those who don't know what that means when the light's on, light will shine through places it shouldn't. And as I lay these in there, I noticed there was a kind of a small gap, and I'll show you that later. And then the other ribs just fit right around it. So I'm just going to go ahead and get the screws in, and then get the rest of the pieces put in. So we have the rest of the pieces put in, as you can see, and getting the final screws there, and that should complete that part. And I like how it looks. It came out nice, and again, you can see how that copper will look nice when it's off, and it'll look more dark when I get the top buttoned up. But that is pretty much it for that nacelle, and like I said, I like how it looks. It looks kind of neat. Like I said, and it's a heavy piece. Now this is where I was pointing out a possibility of light leaks, like right around where that chiller grill meets up. It doesn't look like it's really solid there, but that might fix itself when we put on the lid. So that's it, and I want to thank you for watching Shoeman's Model Shop.